We'll go ahead and call this regular meeting of the East Peoria City Council to order, please. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Here.
Hill?
Here.
Mingus?
Here.
Sutherland?
Here.
Mayor Call?
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and every day. We are at a time of great need. Our country is hurting following the tragedy against Mr. George Floyd. Our hearts go out to his family. We need help healing, and please remind us that we are all one together. We also want to thank you, or ask you to watch over and protect the men and women of blue and firefighters as they face evil each night. Strengthen them with perseverance so they overcome evil and return home safely each day. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Hill.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the City Council recess the regular meeting to hold a public hearing.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present, voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Tonight, we'll be holding a public hearing on the Rebuild Illinois Fast Track Public Infrastructure Grant Application for Altorfer Lane Reconstruction. And with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Ty Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So for this evening, we have a presentation. It's a public hearing for the Rebuild Illinois Fast Track Public Infrastructure Application, and this is for Altorfer Lane. This is a cutout, a carve-out, so to speak, of a larger grant application process that DCEO, the state of Illinois, kicked off here a few months ago. This one was just announced in the middle of May, and so we had to scramble to put something together. The applications are due by June 15th, and as a requirement of that, public input is required as a part of that process. The total amount of funds available for this fast track application is $25 million, and that's statewide. It may sound like a big number, but it's really not. This will go very quickly. In fact, we were just told today, this afternoon, that they are not reviewing any more applications at the moment. They've received 100 so far, so we knew it was a long shot. We're still going to submit. We've largely done all of the legwork that's needed for this application, and so we're still going to submit it. We think we've got a great project. We've got a good story to tell about it. The project activities that are being used with the grant funding that's being requested, which is $500,000, the city in this contribution here would be $143,500, so it's $643,500 total project. It's an improvement to Altorfer Lane, and for those that aren't familiar with where that road's at, it's north of Camp Street. Basically, the unimproved portion starts just past the strip center that has not Jersey Mike's, it has Jimmy John's, yeah, sorry, and IHOP. And so from there, you run northbound. There was a temporary street that was put in essentially when that road was created 15 plus years ago. It has no drainage to it whatsoever. It sheet drains across it, so there's no storm sewer there. The road is really a temporary road that was put in, not to last for 15 years, but it has. But we have a sizable amount of development that's already occurred there and that is going to be occurring there. We have businesses like we've got 2 hotels that are there. Kohl's uses it as a shipping entrance, as well as Entercon Engineering all utilize this road right now. We have a $20 million hotel that is in the works, set to open by this time next year, that this road improvement will benefit. And then beyond that, the future impact for this is really great because there is also a developable area north of I-74, and there happens to be an underpass at the end of this stretch. So while this improvement doesn't get to that point, it certainly is a great jumping off point for future development. So the improvements planned would be a new roadway, obviously here with storm sewer, curb and gutter, as well as some landscaping to improve the overall visibility. You know, you have visitors and tourists that are coming in along this corridor, so it makes a lot of sense to have that improvement. Right now, it's largely devoid of any vegetation. That other development that I mentioned, that $20 million hotel development that's underway, We'll also be making landscaping improvements along the east side of the road, as well as pedestrian connectivity with the sidewalk that will connect people to Camp Street and beyond into the Levy District. So it really is a great project that is, we think has a good story to tell. We feel like we've got a strong application. $500,000 is the minimum that you can ask for, but we felt that that was a strategy to hopefully get us slipped in there if they had, some additional money available, that would be a good opportunity to take advantage of that. We also put skin in the game. We're offering, while you don't have to provide a match, we're providing greater than 20% with that 143.5. So we feel like we've got a good project here, and it also frees up what it means to the community is it frees up resources that could go to other necessary projects. That's $500,000 that we could use elsewhere. So we're still optimistic about it, even though they're not reviewing applications at the moment, but we'll get it submitted and hopefully get it considered.
Well said. Comments from the council?
I'm happy to hear it, Mayor. I'm happy to hear that we're in the running. I asked Ty today what the chances are, and he explained that. Hopefully, we'll be considered strongly, and hopefully we'll be able to be part of that. I think that we are, if nothing else, in good standing because we have a project that's ready. And I think it sounds like our type of project is what they would be looking for. So hopefully it works well and we could take advantage of it and work well for us.
Very good. Other comments from the council? Well, since we're in a public hearing portion, we'd open it up for any public input. I know we're still under the Zoom meeting style here, which is unique in itself, so there's a slight delay. Madam Clerk, would you mind giving instructions on how viewers
Yes, Your Honor.
can?
So anyone who wants to make a comment needs to raise your hand. So you can do that by going on your computer to the participant screen and selecting the raise your hand icon. Click on there. If you're on this telephone, go ahead and select *9.
And I know there's a slight delay, so we'll give it a moment. And if Ty has anyone wishing to make.
I will mention briefly that even though we're having this public hearing and people can weigh in remotely, we have also had this application online for the past 7 days. And then there was also an opportunity for people to make comment prior to the meeting as well, too.
Sure.
And I'm not seeing any indication of
Not seeing
interest.
anything. Very good. Commissioner Hill, turn it back
Mr.
to
Mayor, I
you.
move to adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the regular meeting.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. As we reconvene the regular meeting, I would seek a motion to approve the minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 19, 2020, and the minutes of the special meeting held on May 26, 2020 be approved as printed.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any comments from the council? Hearing none, roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Very good, thank you. Under communications, I have a proclamation. Whereas each June our nation lifts its sights to the flag that has watched over us since the days of our founding. In those broad stripes and bright stars, we see the arc of the American story, from a handful of colonies to 50 states, united and free. And whereas when proud patriots took up the fight for independence, they came together under a standard that showed their common cause. When the wounds of Civil War were still fresh and our country walked the long road to Reconstruction, our people found hope in a banner that testified to the strength of our Union. Wherever our American journey has taken us, whether on that unending path to the mountaintop or high above into the reaches of space, Old Glory has followed, reminding us the rights and responsibilities we share as citizens. And whereas we celebrate that legacy and we honor the brave men and women who have secured it through centuries of service at home and abroad, let us raise our flags high from small-town storefronts to duty stations stretched around the globe, and let us look to them once more as we press on in the march toward a more perfect union. And whereas to commemorate the adoption of our flag, the Congress by joint resolution approved August 3rd, 1949 as amended, designated June 14th of each year as Flag Day, and requested that the President issue an annual proclamation calling for its observance and for the display of the flag of the United States on all federal government buildings. The Congress also requested by joint resolution approved June 9th, 1966, as amended, that the President annually issue a proclamation designating the week in which June 14th occurs as National Flag Week, and call upon citizens of the United States to display the flag during that week. Now, therefore, I, John P. Call, Mayor of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, do hereby recognize June 14th, 2020, as Flag Day in the City of East Peoria, and the week beginning June 14th, 2020, as National Flag Week, and urge all citizens to observe Flag Day by displaying the flag of the United States of America. Very good. Very important day, an iconic symbol representing so many things about our great country. All right, next we'll go to public comment. As I mentioned earlier, we're conducting this meeting via Zoom. So, Madam Clerk, I'll once again ask you to stress to the viewers how to ask the question or comment to the council on an agenda item only.
Yes, Your Honor. If you're on your computer or on your phone, you go to the participants panel and select the raise your hand icon. If you're on your phone, press *9 to make a comment.
And with the slight delay, we'll give it a moment. Mr. Livingston is monitoring the Zoom.
I don't see any.
Seeing no one wishing to public comment. Okay, very good. Prior to turning it over to Commissioner Hill for consent agenda, I'd like to note that under Commissioner Mingus on the agenda, ordinance number 4503 is being polled. That way the commissioner and the chief can have further discussion before bringing it before council. So that's ordinance number 4503 under Commissioner Mingus. We'll pull that item for this evening. With that, Commissioner Hill, I turn it over to you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the consent agenda consisting of items numbered 1 through 4. Item number 1, adoption of resolution number 2021-014, resolution to approve payment of the scheduled bills listed on Schedule 2 in the amount of $3,634,795.87. Item number 2, adoption of ordinance number 4499 on its second reading, and ordinance amending Title 5, Chapter 10, Section 2 of the zoning code for the city of East Peoria regarding permitted special uses in M1 manufacturing districts. Amendment to permit the limited processing and freezing of fish within an enclosed building as a special use in M1 manufacturing district limited, provided that such processing operations shall not emit noxious or offensive odors. Item number 3, adoption of ordinance number 4500 on its second reading, an ordinance authorizing a special use for the property located at 2901 North Main Street in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, special use to allow for the outdoor storage of garbage dumpsters on the property. Item number 4, adoption of ordinance number 4501 on its second reading, an ordinance authorizing a special use for property located at 3201 North Main Street in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, special use to allow for fish processing operations on the property, as listed on the agenda for this meeting to be considered by omnibus vote.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that items numbered 1 through 4 listed on the consent agenda be hereby approved and adopted, and the items numbered 2 through 4, having been read once by their title and having laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor. I have several items tonight. We'll start with, be it resolved by the council, be it resolved by the council of the city of East Peoria that resolution number 2021-008, here to attach, a resolution approved to approve downtown mixed-use development agreement be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 2021-008, having been read once by its title and having laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Okay, here when we had the first reading, we've got the opportunity here, a great opportunity to work with an experienced developer for quality mixed-use residential property. And as we talked about in our first meeting, this development agreement is for property real adjacent here to the city hall. It's for 230 luxury apartments, and this property is expected to complement the levy district as well as be a catalyst. It's really exciting to see that this development, the original levy district plan was to have mixed use, and this is the first time that we've actually got close to making that a reality. Ty, anything to add?
You covered it well. Thank you.
Very good. Comments from the council?
Mayor, I've had nothing but excellent comments from people. One person said to me, man, at a time when so many things have been depressing, it was nice to hear this is going on, that this was moving forward in East Peoria. So I've heard nothing but positive comments. I'm excited about it.
Very good. Other comments?
Sure, all I can say is I think it's a great thing for us.
Very good. I'd just like to point out, once again, thank Dennis Triggs and Ty Livingston for all their efforts in the last year and a half to bring this to fruition. This is an award-winning developer. This is a very exciting development that will very much complement what we've built out here in the levy district. So exciting times, looking forward to seeing the finished product, and I know this is just the first stage of many to come until we get to the completion date, but certainly exciting news. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, be it resolved by the Council of City of East Peoria, Illinois, that the reappointment of Tammy Meischner as board member to the East Peoria Housing Authority by Mayor John P. Call for a 5-year term beginning July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2025 be hereby confirmed and approved, and that this resolution number 2021-010 be adopted as presented.
May I have a
Mr.
second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
Okay. Oh, here, I was stuck on the other part of the paper. It's my honor. I know Tammy, and she's been on. This appointment will be her second appointment. She's a great lady, has great civic pride, and it's good to see. I want to thank her for her first 5 years and thank her for being interested in doing another. So that's all I've got.
Other comments from the council? Hearing none, I'll just say, with these appointments, these aren't just, picked out of thin air. Tammy has served on this, the housing board for the last 5 years. She had a willingness, always check with these folks, make sure they have a willingness to continue their service. And LaToya Brown, this is something that, as director of the Housing Authority, she put in a request and a recommendation to reappoint, which I think has a lot of credibility to it. Appreciate her willingness to serve. She's done a great job, and appreciate that she's willing to do it for another 5. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move you the ordinance number 4504 here to attach, an ordinance accepting bid for sale of city-owned surplus real estate located at 136 Johnson Street be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Okay, we had, in this case, this was a sealed bid. And this is 136 Johnson. It's right behind Kroger as we know it. And the sealed bid came in at $3,800 for the owner being, let's see, the owner, oh, this is.
The purchaser is Angela Seberg.
Okay.
And she's purchasing it on behalf, her brother lives next door. His name is Jeff. I want to correct my memo. Roger is the father whose name is going to be put into,
Right.
but Jeff, her brother, lives next door to the property and will be including it as a part of their house and their property.
Thank you, Ty.
Thanks.
Yeah. I had it in front of me and wasn't seeing it. So, yeah, this is, again, returning property to productive uses. This is surplus city property, as is the next case that we have.
Very good. Comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4505 here to attach, an ordinance providing for the sale of excess city property at 232 Everett Street be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
Okay, another excess property, again, this one is in the general area, 232. There was, the bid, or the offer that came in for this property was, let me look for my, okay, $4,000 with $500 in closing cost. And with the value of this property, that meets the 80% requirement. This property is a unique shape, but the intent of the homeowner is to build something on it. That is all I have.
Okay. Comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, the last one for me tonight, Mr. Mayor, is a resolution in complete full read, so thankfully it's a short one. Resolution, whereas the City Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, the city has taken action to submit a competitive public infrastructure application under the Rebuild Illinois Grant Program, and whereas the city has identified the project to reconstruct and improve Altorfer Lane as an important and necessary infrastructure project for the city. It's the project, and the project is shovel-ready and awaiting for the necessary funding. And whereas the receipt of Rebuild Illinois grant assistance is essential to allow the city to undertake the project to reconstruct Altorfer Lane. And whereas the city has held a public hearing on seeking grant funding under the Rebuild Illinois program for the project after proper publication of a hearing notice. And whereas criteria under the Rebuild Illinois grant are such that financial participation by the city as the grantee is required in conjunction with the Rebuild Illinois funds. And whereas the city has certain monies allocated for the project with cash on hand as needed, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that the city does hereby commit funds of $143,500 for the project from the city's general revenue fund for the use in the conjunction with the Rebuild Illinois Public Infrastructure Grant, as such funds equals 22.2% of the estimated total project cost of $643,500. Mr. Mayor, I move you that resolution number 2021-013 be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Okay, as Ty is the special, or the session that we held at the beginning of the meeting, Ty Livingston introduced this, what we're doing here. Again, this is improvements to Altorfer Lane to also benefit other development that we have going on, and this is the necessary step to have the resolution to complete our application process. Anything else, Ty?
The $643,500 is based upon the engineer's estimate. We do have bid openings this Thursday, which makes this project really shovel-ready. But we'll have hard numbers after that and have a really good idea where we're standing with the project. We're hopeful we get some good bids back.
Very good. Comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call.
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Decker.
I have one item right now, Mayor. It's resolution number 2021-012, whereas John Harris has been continuously employed by the city from February 1st, 1998 through May 15th, 2020, most recently occupying the position of foreman in the Streets Department. Whereas John Harris announced his intention to retire from employment effective at the end of his shift on May 15th, 2020. And whereas the city is appreciative of the long and continued service provided by John Harris. And whereas it is in the best interest of the city to execute the attached separation agreement. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the council of the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Section 1, the above recitals are found to be true and correct. Section 2, the mayor is hereby authorized to execute the separation agreement with such changes as the mayor in his sole discretion may decide are in the best interest of the city of East Peoria. Mr. Mayor, I move you the resolution number 2021-012 be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus. If any of you know John Harris, he has been an employee for the city of East Peoria for 22 years. Those of you that know him know that he comes off as, I think he likes to come off as a little bit rough, and but he is a big teddy bear. He's a nice guy. He will do anything for a friend. And I became a friend of his years ago, and really appreciate his friendship. He's a really good person. John has a passion. He works for the Streets Department, but before that, he worked for Eastside, and he would do the landscaping and things around the city. And I think that he actually even loved that more. Obviously, wanted to go work for the Public Works Department, but he really enjoyed the horticulture work in the city of East Peoria most. He has another job. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to say where or not, so I'll leave that, but that's what he's going to enjoy. But one thing John likes to do is he loves to ride motorcycles. John's been extremely involved in ABATE for many years. He's, I believe, the legislative rep, if I'm not mistaken, is his title, and just very, very involved, knows a lot of people throughout Illinois, and he likes to be involved with elected officials, and he does a good job with it. So we appreciate the service that he's, as he's worked in East Peoria for 22 years. We're going to miss him, but hope he fares well and enjoys retirement. Hopefully gets to do a lot of hunting and fishing as well.
Well said. Other comments from the council?
I'd just like to wish John good luck in retirement, good luck in whatever his new position is. I've known John for a few years, quite a few years, and I think Commissioner Decker hit the nail on the head. What I was going to say is I've had conversations with him, and he's always very passionate about whatever we're talking about. So I hope that he continues with that, and I wish him good luck in the future.
I'd just like
Yes,
to
sir, Mayor. I met John when we first started building Eastside. Before he worked for Eastside, he volunteered for Eastside. And he did a lot of work up there, and it was all from the heart. And I can remember for about a 13 or 14-month period, that's what he did, as many hours in the day as he could afford to do it every day. And he did a really good job up there, and he's learned a lot over the years, and he's become I believe in many ways a good asset for us. Hate to lose him.
Yep. Commissioner Hill?
Yep, I would just like to thank John for his service to the city as well, and wish him the best of luck.
And I, too, will join the chorus. 22 years of dedicated service are much appreciated. And for those that don't know John, should you have the privilege of knowing him, you will know where you stand rather quickly. He was never afraid to speak his mind, and learned to appreciate that as someone that's kind of wired the same way. Just for matter of record, as these separation agreements are approved, there's typically some type of payout that is owed to the employee. Mr. Harris will be receiving one installment in the amount of $4,268 on or before June 15th, 2020. But I do know he moved on. He's not just kicking his feet up somewhere. He actually went on to his next endeavor, and we wish him well. I know he'll do a great job for those folks as well. So thank you for your service, and best of luck moving forward. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That is all I have right now, Mayor.
Very good. Commissioner Sutherland?
I have nothing tonight, sir.
Commissioner Mingus?
I have nothing tonight either, Your Honor.
Very good. We'll move along to public comments. Anyone wishing to address the council on a non-agenda item? Madam Clerk?
Press star 9 if you're on your telephone to make a comment. And if you're on your computer or your phone, go to the participant screen and select the raise your hand icon.
And we'll give it a brief moment here.
I believe we have Bob Jorgensen who would like to speak.
Very good.
Thank you. I did want to thank a few people before I said a real lot. I hope all the council and mayor realize what a great city staff you have. Had some questions and comments over the last couple of months on different items, and Morgan was a big help getting me directed in the right way, and she asked Robert to talk to me for a while, try and get me informed about different things that I was going to talk about, and same with Rick Szymanski. So I just wanted to pass that on to you. I will say too that you are pretty difficult to hear and understand. I can hear Ty great, but some of the rest of you were pretty much breaking up. I wanted to say that I sure am pleased that recycling is still somewhere on your minds. I hope I have been naturally working and thinking about ways that we can get this restarted again. And that's all I'll say about that. I also wanted to remind everybody that no idling is a good program. It would be great for public works, and I'm sure also police and fire, but especially public works. I was informed that public works spends about $200,000+ a year on fuel, and if we could save 10% of that with a no idling program, that would be 20,000 plus, which would sure be a help in all our areas. I wanted to remind the city also that G&D Integrated Trucking has an expert that has said in the past that he would come talk to the council and pass on what G&D has done and how successful the program has been for them. And that is all that I wanted to say. Like I said, I had other things on my mind, but they've been answered by city staff.
Okay, thank you, Bob. We appreciate your comments, sir.
That's all we have.
Okay, no further public comments. We'll turn it over to the commissioners. Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'll speak about recycling since Bob mentioned that. Even though we're now a month into the new budget, and since we've stopped doing the curbside recycling, it has not been forgotten. But I can't tell you tonight exactly what we are going to do. There have been quite a few conversations. I'm meeting tomorrow morning with a couple people as well to discuss what we can do. We have a contract in place right now with Waste Management, and it's important that we not do anything that would violate that contract. We've got a good relationship with Waste Management. We want to continue to have that good relationship. So we believe that we'll be able to get that worked out. and something, if not for curbside recycling throughout the year, something we will have in place as soon as we possibly can. So hopefully Dennis will be able to answer some questions tomorrow. And we have had some offers from places to help us out with some, maybe a drop-off facility. Again, we don't want to do anything wrong, so we're going to make sure we get it right before we move forward. But as quickly as possible, I have the meeting tomorrow, and I'll update the council after that where that stands. I also want to mention the Vietnam Wall. I haven't spoken much about it recently because with the coronavirus, it's one of those things where it was up in the air what we were going to be able to do. Originally, when it happened, we thought, oh, we won't have to worry about it. It's a long ways off. And then, sure enough, it kept going and going. And we just kind of kept quiet, especially with so many people being affected negatively financially. We weren't at the point where we wanted to ask for money. But I do want to assure people we are still moving forward. The dates still are September 23rd through the 27th. We have been meeting routinely as a group to discuss moving forward. And at this time, it's still the same plan, not just having the wall come and sit there, but if possible, we are going to have an opening ceremony. We're going to have something in the evenings and even then something on the weekend for families to get together throughout the Levy District and enjoy not only the wall being here, but some other things as well. Having said that, we have to be alert as to what we should and should not do with social distancing and what's right. So we are moving forward. It is, we're still excited about it, and we're going to do as much as we possibly can that will allow us all to get together and enjoy the wall, allow people to, I don't know, show honor to those that lost their lives during Vietnam. So haven't spoken much about it, but I wanted to take tonight to mention it again at the City Council, and we're going to start putting back out on Facebook again now because it looks like hopefully people are starting to be able to get out and hopefully get excited about this again. You know, with the coronavirus and the budget issues and everything else, for a while, I didn't feel like I wanted to say much, or I don't know if any of us really knew, what we should say. And then I, on Facebook one night, saw a comment that was made by somebody, my wife showed me, that said that they wished that we would talk about it. And we did start talking about it that evening. And when we did, they really appreciated it. They talked about what we thought and how we should move forward. So even though, it was City Council, when people watch, I think they expect us to talk about things like that. So here's why I say that. With what's going on right now in our nation, George Floyd's death was terrible. And I think everybody agrees, and I completely understand the protests and the marches that it is in honor of Mr. Floyd. I was listening to his brother, though. I think most people probably saw that interview where he was speaking to a crowd and talking about some of the things that have happened along with the protests, and where he spoke out against it. And he said that their family, they're God-fearing, and George wouldn't stand for this. And I think that's important. We have a lot of good people out there who are demonstrating. They're taking part in marches, and I think that's important. It's important to our democracy. But we also have people that are taking advantage of that. I really appreciate the efforts that our police department, not only East Peoria Police Department, but the surrounding police departments have made in the last week to make sure, especially since Saturday night, to make sure that our businesses are as safe as possible. They've put themselves in between what could have been a very bad situation, and businesses that they, other than being an employee for the city, they don't know the owners of the businesses. But I really appreciate the work that they've done. I would ask, too, that anybody who is taking part in one of those protests, I encourage you to do so. A peaceful protest are the things that we need in our country to show help our country go in the direction that it should go. But if you recognize those people who are there for other purposes, to steal, to loot, to damage people's property, I encourage you to reach out. Because I know here in East Peoria, our police officers welcome people demonstrating, but not looting, not damaging people's property. So I want to take that opportunity tonight to encourage people to get involved, to try to make good changes for our society. But when it comes to the other things, the opportunistic stealing, damage, I hope that we can all come together and point out those that that should not be trying to take part in something that's good and turning it into something that's bad. So I just wanted to mention that tonight. What I say isn't necessarily important, but at least I have the opportunity to use a microphone, so I figure I should do it.
It was
Thanks,
well
Mayor.
said. Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Hill.
Yeah, I've got a couple of similar notes, because again, the condolences and prayers to the family of George Floyd. You know, I don't condone police brutality and recognize we still need to make change in that area. With that being said, and it's similar to Commissioner Decker, that when I look at what's going on, and it, I don't say it disgusts me a little bit, that, you know, the actions of looting, you know, are not protesting. You know, it's criminal. When I look at the right, you know, people think that they have the right to break in and take other people's property that they haven't worked for or they haven't earned it. You know, that's criminal. You know, people threatening our police officers with gun violence, again, that's criminal. So we're not talking about protests. We're not talking about doing the right things. People that damage and destruct property is criminal. You know, people that light fire on other people's property, again, it's not only criminal, that's arson. And so we've got a criminal element that is actually haunting our area the last few nights. And again, they're doing it under the guise of civil rights. And they're taking away, as Commissioner Decker made a reference, they're taking away from the real meaning of what should be going on, because I commend the We Matter movement that held a rally in Peoria on Saturday afternoon. They did things, if you want to say it the correct way. They protested, they had their voice heard, and they're also condoning the actions that they're and separating themselves from what has been going on the last few nights. And it bothers me driving around the city of East Peoria and seeing some of our residences, and probably more so our small businesses, feeling the need to protect their property against these large groups of people. I mean, some people may not be getting the full effect that you've got bands of 20, 30, 40 cars that are driving around Peoria, East Peoria, driving to Pekin, creating havoc, and that's their sole goal. There's nothing about civil rights. It's about trying to take an opportunity to take something that they don't deserve. So, again, Commissioner Decker was a little more encouraging, but I say that I really appreciate the East Peoria men and women in blue, and even the firefighters, because again, whoever set the arson fire, I hope that we identify, convict, or prosecute and convict that individual or individuals that did that, because again, that is criminal, and we're not going to stand up, and criminal actions will not make a positive policy, public policy change. So again, kudos to the We Matter movement. That's the way things probably should be approached. We need to talk about these things, and the public destruction of property and putting people in fear every night is not the right way, and it's not going to be not accepted in the city of East Peoria. So with that note, as you know, Commissioner Decker has mentioned COVID-19. It's sad to say, with all the news of what's going on in the last few days, we stopped talking about COVID-19. But one of the things in the last week I've noticed is other municipalities have either faced or continue to talk about their budget strains as a result of COVID-19. One thing I became real appreciative of, so I thought I needed to make sure I say that, is that as I've listened to other municipalities struggling to try to come up and figure out the answer to how they're going to address their revenue shortfalls, I feel so much more appreciative and honored of our East Peoria city department heads and the city staff and the commissioners, because we had to make some tough decisions, but we knew that that revenue was not going to come back. And we made it early and we took actions, and they were hard decisions, but I really, in the recent week, have felt more appreciative for everybody here at the city that helped in those discussions. And those discussions were, again, those were some tough discussions, but we got there and we did what we thought we needed to do. So hats off to the city of East Peoria, the department heads, the commissioners, and the mayor for making those tough decisions even early on. I'm trying to bring in a more positive note. This Friday, first East Peoria Farmers Market here in the Promenade, down here in the Levy District, so June 5th from 4 to 7. We're looking forward to starting off a great new year, and we hope to see a lot of people come down here. And again, there will be social distancing expectations, so good. We hope everybody can make it down and see. Not to steal the thunder, the last point I have is recently I just saw, I think, the other day, the duck race is coming up. I think somebody comes and normally does a presentation for us at a normal city council meeting, but I believe as of Monday, they're going totally digital as far as their sales. So you can go to duckracepeoria.com, and again, that's for the Centers for Prevention of Abuse. And I believe the the donation's $5. And they're hoping still to have the race on August 29th at East Side Center. So with that, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Mingus? Well, you're listed on the agenda first. but-
I'll go next then.
Yeah, not
I'll-
that I've followed it.
I won't reiterate everything Commissioner Decker, Commissioner Hill said regarding what's going on, but I will maybe restate or say a couple things that they did. One, condolences to the family of George Floyd. Nobody wants to see an individual go through that. And I appreciate the way people do take advantage of their First Amendment right to assemble and protest. That's a right that a fundamental right that we have in the United States, and it's a fundamental right that I believe in, and I think everybody has that right, and appreciate when people take advantage of that. Fundamental right of the First Amendment is not to destroy property, as Commissioner Hill said, and it disappoints me when Saturday night, you start getting messages, you see what's going on in East Peoria, you see what's going on, and then you can get on Facebook Live and see, and that was a sad situation to kind of, and I didn't witness it firsthand, but to listen to it and then hear the firsthand accounts of it, that happened in our city. And then from a father's perspective, to try to explain to your kids what's going on when we drive down the Levy District yesterday and Target's boarding up there, or they are boarded up, and we've got businesses putting plywood on their windows and try to explain what's going on. That's a difficult thing to do, and it's not something that we really want in our city. So hopefully that ends, and people will kind of listen. Yesterday I listened to the Peoria press conference, and I thought that the mayor artist kind of did a nice job of explaining, and their police chief, but then prior to that, they also had a representative of the African American community in Peoria also speak, and they all kind of had the same message, which is it's okay to peacefully protest, but it's not okay to destroy property, and I think last night was better. So hopefully people are listening, and we can move on and solve some of the issues that there are out there. I think that's, you can't deny that there are issues out there, but I think there's a better way I know there's a better way to go about it other than destroying property and setting fires. The other thing I want to do is thank our police department, our fire department. I know that Saturday was stressful for them. I know our police department's been putting in extra time yesterday. I think they probably will continue. I also want to thank, and I'll ask the mayor to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he told me on Saturday night we had 10 additional police departments in the city assisting our police officers, and we couldn't keep our citizens safe if we didn't have mutual aid in both police and fire from other communities, and I think it's important to recognize that those communities helped us out, and want to thank them for that. And that's all I have.
Very good, Commissioner. Commissioner Sutherland.
Well, I got a couple things. I have some recycling phone calls that I have not made back to people. I've not forgotten you. I will get to you. This has been a crazy week. I promise you I will call you. Recycling is a very important thing. We just need to get it right. I'm going to touch base on the looting and the burnings. And the people who are doing the looting and the burning and destroying of private and public property underneath the cloak of a man who has lost his life, I believe unnecessarily. They remind me of people that rob houses during a funeral, or steal from the elderly, or hurt those who cannot defend themselves. As far as I'm concerned, these people are truly evil. I hope our tri-county courts all get together and show them no mercy, because when they get arrested, and they will be arrested, that it's not going to be a revolving door for them. I hope the politicians have the guts to do the right thing there. And I can say this at my age and stage in life, and sitting here on the city council going through all this stuff, I'm going to touch base on the COVID-19 and how the city of East Peoria has handled this. And if I never sit up here again, I can say that I am so very proud to have a mayor like John Call stand up. And without him, the commissioners could have all been in agreement, but without the mayor in the lead on this one, our stance, which I believe was correct, and one of the first, if not the first in the state, that other people, cities and people are emulating, would have never taken place. I'm very proud of him. I'm done.
Thank you for the kind words, Commissioner, but we all did it together, and I appreciate the support of the council. It's unanimous in its support. To some of the previous points made by the commissioners, Saturday night we did see some civil unrest unfold here through this region. I would like to point out and recognize and thanks once again the other departments that had a quick response in aiding East Peoria and preventing what played out in Peoria. So thanks to the officers from the East Peoria Police Department, Fond du Lac Park Police, Tazewell County Sheriff's Department, Illinois State Police, Pekin Police Department, Morton Police Department, Creve Coeur Police Department, Marquette Heights Police Department, North Pekin Police Department, Peoria Police Department, and I failed to recognize Sunday morning, and I want to make sure I get this right tonight, the wonderful dispatchers of TC3. These folks, all of these departments, all these agencies, to include the dispatchers, have done nothing less than a phenomenal job in the last 3 or 4 days here. And this will continue. This heavy police presence, it'll continue. We have an obligation to keep our community safe. We'll do just that. So, a couple things I'd like to point out, as these discussions and throughout the nation unfold, what happened to George Floyd was unacceptable. It was, quite honestly, it was despicable. And it pains me to sit here and watch law enforcement as a whole lumped together in a group for the actions of a select few. And I'd like to remind people, as we watch the peaceful protesters play out in Peoria, and they were lock and step with the community leaders, with the elected officials, with the police departments, everybody understood, everybody supported the protest. There's a difference between protests and the opportunists that take advantage of a situation like that, take advantage of peaceful protesting, and take the opportunity to wreak havoc throughout our community and destroy the very things that support all of us. It makes no sense to me. And here's what I ask. I ask people not to judge all the men and women in blue for the despicable actions of a select few, no different than I would never judge the despicable actions and the unlawful actions of a select few in what they deem to be the name of civil rights or injustice, when actually is what they're doing is causing harm to the message that needs to be resounded throughout this nation, which is the right message. Listen to those that are doing it the right way, peacefully, that want to bring about true change, not for the select few that are taking an opportunity to wreak havoc and loot and riot through unlawful actions. It's unacceptable. And our commitment to our citizens is we'll continue to keep our community safe at any cost. So with that being said, I just appreciate the council. I appreciate the staff. I appreciate our police and fire and all the agencies that will continue. And we're working, we support them no different than they're supporting us. So this is a concerted effort on a lot of different entities, and it's greatly appreciated, and we'll continue doing that moving forward. And that's all I have. I would seek a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn until Tuesday evening, June 16th, 2020, at 6 PM.
I have a second, please.
Second.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Before we take the roll call, I'd just like to point out the council is unanimous in its decision to go back to our regular format at our next meeting, June 16th. We'll send out a press release announcing as such. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. We are adjourned until we meet again.